precedence table. We have seen that the calculation of trail and lead functions of an operator grammar is required for this computation. In the operator precedence table, we will have to set the precedence levels of all operators. Now, these basic rules we have seen in the last session with examples. So we'll take a quick recap of whatever we have done in the last session. For the start symbol, you can see that the start symbol, for the start symbol S, dollar is less than lead of S, and whatever elements in the trail of the start symbol or starting non-terminal, it will be greater than dollar. So if you note this first rule, you can see that dollar is having the least precedence over all operators. These facts we have to remember. It is easy to remember that. Always dollar is having the least precedence. See, dollar is less than trail lead of S, and trail of S is greater than dollar. So the first rule says that dollar, the augmented symbol to the input string, it is a terminal and it is having the least precedence. Now see the second rule, if there are two terminals juxtaposed each other, they are of equal precedence, A, B. Now, the third rule says that if A derives X, B, Y, if two terminals are separated by a single non-terminal, then X and Y are of equal precedence. Fourth rule says that if A derives alpha, X, B, beta, see, X is the terminal here, X comes after B. Then what happens? See, if X is preceded by B, then X will be having lower precedence. Now, what is expected after X? It is lead of B. So when X comes before a terminal, X is having lesser precedence than the lead elements of the following non-terminal. Similarly, in Bx format, see, A derives alpha, Bx beta. Here B is the non-terminal and X is the terminal. Here we can see that trail of B assumes greater precedence than the terminal. B greater than X. What is B? B is trail of B. So this understanding will help us to remember the rules well. Otherwise, if the positions and if the trail and lead functions are altered in any of these steps, we will not get the correct answer. Now we will be filling the precedence table as per these 5 rules, and 6th rule says that all leftover spaces in the table are error positions. Now we will see how to create our precedence table for the given grammar. For setting the precedence table, there are 3 steps. First one will be to calculate lead and trail elements for each non-terminal in the given operator grammar. Then we will set the precedence relation between all terminals. Last step is construction of precedence table. So these three steps we will follow to create an operator precedence table. So you can expect a question like this. You'll be given a grammar, and that grammar will be, you will be asked to prepare operator precedence table. You may be asked to calculate lead and trail elements. You may be even asked to parse a given string as per operator precedence parsing algorithm. Even for that final step, we have to do all these. First, we have to find the lead elements, trail elements. Then we will be constructing the precedence table. After that, we will apply the parsing steps. See, these are the rules that we had discussed in we have seen earlier. So we will apply these set of rules to the given grammar. Grammar we have already right in our hand. Now we know that to compute this, we should have our lead and trail elements in our hand in advance. So when you do an exercise on your own, remember that the first step will be to calculate lead elements for the terminals, non-terminals, and trail values for the same non-terminals. Then we can apply these rules. Interestingly, you can see that once these rules are set, and in these rules again we will be referring back to our grammar. So all these are grammar productions. Now we will see it one by one. One method is, in some books we can see that you fill all less than spaces. Then you can go for all equal to spaces. Then you can go for all less than spaces. So instead of that, we will take the entire grammar and we apply these rule number 1 and 6 successively. One rule at a time we will take, and we will try to see in which all rules can be applied to the given grammar to fill the operator precedence table. Now we can see that okay, you can note it down this. We will solve it together. So see, lead values you can note down, rules you might have note down already. Lead elements and trail elements for a ready reference, you can keep it in the same page itself. Then when you draw the precedence table, remember that you have enough columns for all terminals plus our augmented terminal called as $. So plus into left bracket, right bracket, ID and $. Similarly, rows and columns will be set for these terminals. Then leave everything blank. Once this is set, we will apply all these rules one by one to fill this table. So I hope that you have noted down these lead values and trail values, and this is also done. You can draw one row at a time. That can be done. We can start the first two rows, then you can add the next rows as and when it is required. So let us apply rule number 1 now. Rule number 1 says that for start symbol S, set $A for all lead elements. So dollar is less than lead elements. Now what is S here? S is E. What is the elements of E? Elements of E are here. So we will look for the columns for plus, and we will see the column for $. There we will see that we can see that $, see dollar comes the last. Dollar is here. Dollar is less than A. So dollar will be less than plus. So where is dollar? Dollar is here. The last element here is $. Dollar is less than plus. So where dollar and plus meets, we will put a less than mark. Similarly, we will continue that for star left bracket and ID. So you can see that dollar became the least. Now dollar in this step you can see that automatically dollar has got the least precedence among all these lead elements. So you can fill the dollar element, dollar column, dollar and plus, dollar and into, dollar greater than, dollar left bracket, dollar ID. These are the elements for lead of fee. All these elements are, all these spaces are filled with less than. So the first step, see, first step of the first rule is over. Now this is not finished. We have to set trail of S greater than dollar. All elements of the starting symbol, trail that belongs to trail, all the members of the trail elements are trail set are to be set higher than dollar, greater than dollar. Now again we will see trail of S is trail of E, so plus star great right bracket ID. So we'll say that plus is greater than dollar. So plus and dollar we'll put greater than. Like that we can see dollar and not dollar into star and dollar greater than. So right bracket and dollar greater than, ID and dollar greater than. So we will be filling these values also. Now we will apply the next rule, rule number 2. We will see whether rule number 2 can be applied. We can see that corresponding to rule number 2, we don't have a production. You can refer to our grammar. There is no production such as, see, there is no such production for us. We can see that E derives E plus T. Nowhere here 2 terminals are adjacent. Only 2 terminals. So we can see that rule number 2 cannot be applied here. So we'll see whether the next rule can be applied. We'll see whether rule number 3 can be applied. So when we apply rule number 3, it is of the form A derives X, B, Y, where X and Y are terminals, and between X and Y there is a non-terminal called as B. So we can see that only P5 fits with this rule. So P5 says that F derives left bracket E right bracket. So what is rule number 3? Rule number 3 says that if there is such a production, X and Y are of equal precedence. So here X is left bracket, Y is right bracket, left bracket equal to right bracket. That's a symbol to be put. So we can see this is our left bracket and right bracket. You can see that there is an equal to symbol there. So we have applied rule number 3, and as per rule number 3, we have filled the precedence level of left bracket and right bracket also. Now we can take up the next rule. Next rule is rule number 4. Now which productions can be taken up for rule number 4? So when we discussed these rules last time, we have identified that P1, P3 and P5 are those rules where we can apply this rule number 4. Rule number 4 is of alpha XB beta format, where X is a terminal and B is a non-terminal. So a terminal comes in front of a non-terminal, CE plus T. Star F. Star is a terminal followed by a non-terminal. Here you can see that left bracket is followed by E. So all these rules, P1, P3 and P5, to these rules we can apply rule number 4. Now what is rule number 4? We have seen that when X is followed by a non-terminal, then precedence level of X will be less than lead of B. X will be less than lead of B. Here X, take P1 first. X is plus. So plus is less than lead of B. Here B is T. So we'll take lead of T. So we will set between plus and lead of T. Plus is less than star. So we'll take plus and star, we'll mark less than. Then again we will take plus and the other elements of lead of E. Lead of E is then star. So here can see F E plus T, lead of T will take, lead of T, plus and star, plus and left bracket, plus and left bracket, then comes plus and ID, plus and ID. So all these are all of lesser precedence than P. So plus is less than star, left bracket and ID. These elements are here. Lead of T. Why lead of T? Because of the first production plus T. You can fill these elements now. Now when we take up P3, we can see that T derives T into F. It is of XB format. X is star. So star is X. Star is less than A. What is A? A is lead of B. So here X is star and B is F now. Lead of F. Lead of F is left bracket and ID. So star is less than left bracket. Star is less than left bracket. Star is less than ID. Star is less than ID. So even these two columns are also filled. It is as per rule number 4 upon P3. Now the last production for rule number 4 is F derives E within parenthesis. Left bracket is X here. B is E. So left bracket is less than lead of E. So lead of E is plus star left bracket and ID. So left bracket is less than plus. Left bracket is less than star. Left bracket is less than itself. And left bracket is also less than ID. So we have filled these positions, these three sets of positions corresponding to P1, P3 and P5 as per rule number 4. Now we have to take up the next rule. Next rule is rule number 5. So we will see which are all the productions that where rule 5 can be applied. So we can see that rule 5 can be also applied on the same set of productions. It is of alpha BX beta format. A single non-terminal is followed by a terminal BX format. E is B, E plus bx, t star bx, and here e and this right bracket, e right bracket. E and right bracket. So what's the rule now here now? B is greater than x. B is having higher precedence than x. B. What is B? Trail of B. Trail of B is higher than x. Trail of B. Here B, the first case B is what? Bx, E plus. So trail of E. Trail of E is greater than plus. Trail of E is plus. Plus is greater than plus. Plus is greater than star. Here. Trail of B, E plus. So trail of B is trail of E. Trail of E, not lead. Trail of E is greater than plus. See, E derives E plus T. Here E is B. Bx is E plus. So trail of B is trail of E. Trail of E is greater than x. X is plus. So plus is greater than plus. Star is greater than plus. Right bracket is greater than plus. Also, ID is greater than plus. So we have filled these positions now as per rule number 5 applied on P1. Now let us apply rule number 5 on P3 also. So P3, T derives T into F. Bx, here B is T, star is X. So trail of T will be having higher precedence than star. Trail of T is star greater than star left right bracket and ID. So star will be greater than of higher precedence than star. So star higher relationship is higher precedence. Now comes trail of T. Trail of T. See right bracket. Right bracket is having greater symbol is greater than against star. You can see ID here. ID is greater than star. So as per rule number 5 on P3, these values are filled, which are marked in yellow in this slide. Now let us apply P5 here. When you apply P5, you can see that F derives right bracket E and left bracket E and right bracket. So Bx format, B is E and X is the closing bracket. So trail of E will be greater than closing bracket. Trail of E. Trail of E is here plus star closing bracket ID. So all these elements are greater than X. So trail of E plus is greater than closing bracket. So closing bracket is here. Plus is greater than closing bracket. Into is greater than closing bracket. Closing bracket is greater than closing bracket. And ID is having higher precedence than closing bracket. So as per rule number 5 applied on P5, we have filled these operator precedence table now. Now, as of now, after applying rule number 5, the positions are as such. Now we have no more rules to apply. and no more productions are to be considered. We have considered all the available productions. Now we'll apply the sixth rule now. So sixth rule says that fill E in all leftover positions, because all leftover positions are error positions. So wherever there were blank after these applying these rules, those positions are marked with E. E stands for error positions. So this is how an operator precedence table is to be created. And after finding lead and trail elements of all non-terminals and applying these rules from 1 to 6 on the given operator grammar.